So you want to turn your body into a fat-burning machine, right? Let's see how you can just do that with the minimal effort. Yeah, I'm not talking about running marathons, and I'm not talking about going for a hike. I'm just talking about the simple keto diet that would actually turn your body into a fat-burning machine. It will put your body into ketosis, or a ketogenic state, where you are using your body fats primarily as a source of fuel. Now, talking about fuel, your body can run on two types of fuel. The first and the major type of fuel is glucose. Glucose comes from carbs, and it is a major source of fuel for your body. And glucose also comes from glycogen. So if you eat a lot of carbs in your meal, and post-meal you have this high glycogen content in your liver and in your muscle cells. So in the fasting state, the glycogen is being converted into glucose. This is a process called glycogenolysis, breakdown of the glycogen. Your body can also produce glucose from other sources like amino acids and many other sources like fats, and this would be a process called gluconeogenesis. These both terms apply when you are in a diet that actually has carbohydrates. Now, if you are not eating these carbohydrates, your body is actually ingesting all those fatty acids. And now let's come back to the second source. The second source is ketone bodies. Now, these ketone bodies are actually produced from fats. So your liver converts these fatty acids into ketones, and your body primarily uses these ketone bodies as the main fuel. And your brain actually can use both glucose and ketones. So at the start, you get this keto flu, and because your brain is not accustomed to these high ketones, you've been eating too much carbohydrates, and your brain is actually used to those carbohydrates, and it's not used to these ketone bodies. So once you go on these ketones as your primary fuel, it takes about 3 to 5 days for your body to adjust. And in that time, you will actually go from a low ketogenic state into a really high ketogenic state. And we'll talk more about the keto flu and the ketogenic state in the upcoming videos. And I'll also make a video about how to actually start a keto diet so that you do not have to experience the keto flu phenomenon, and you have the easiest way through into keto. By the way, if you want to start keto, I would also recommend starting the Atkins diet first, so that your body gets used to those low carbs. Once your body gets used to those low carbs, you can go ultra low carbs like in the keto. The keto diet is about 5 to 10% carbs, so those are very low carbs, and 20 to 25% protein. The rest is fat. The major portion is actually fat, about 60 to 75%. The other 25% portion, major of which is protein, and carbs are very less. These less amount of carbs actually help you put into that ketogenic state. Once your body gets into ketosis, and the ketosis is a very powerful tool that actually helps you to stabilize your blood sugars, to actually lose weight, and to get mental clarity. Most of the people use keto diet just to clear their mind for mental clarity. Some others use it for better glycemic control. Like I've talked about in my previous videos, the link would be in the description, where I talk about how you can reverse pre-diabetes by just following the keto diet. Isn't it amazing? About 1 in 3 Americans are diabetic right now. Every child that is born in the United States is said to have type 2 diabetes or pre-diabetes sometimes in their life. So the keto diet actually is an ancestral diet. It's not something new. It's not a fad diet. It's not something that we just discovered, or not that someone just invented this new type of fat burning process. No, it's actually really old. Our ancestors actually did not have these refined carbs like we have. They did not have access to these supermarkets. They did not eat highly processed carbohydrates or pasta or rice or polished wheat flour. They did not have access to that. So they actually used to eat high protein like beef, high fatty parts of beef and eggs, walnuts, nuts in general. Now guess what? They were in a ketogenic state, most of them, unless we started cultivating wheat. Our ancestors used to be hunters and gatherers, and they used to be on these low carb diets. And by the way, since we've discovered these refined carbohydrates and we have refined each and everything, guess what? The obesity epidemic has really worsened. About half of American children by 2050 would be obese. Almost 1/3 have prediabetes. Half of American males develop hypertension sometimes in their life. Isn't it so linked to this obesity epidemic, and how the obesity epidemic is linked to these refined carbohydrates, and how we've been accustomed to eating these refined carbohydrates, whether at chains, whether at restaurants, at our homes, cereals, potato chips. You talk about these children's snacks, chocolates, these high fructose corn syrups, and how sugar or refined sugar is being added to products. It's amazing how all of this is linked to this obesity epidemic. Now that you've thought of starting a keto diet, well, the benefits are amazing. You would have better glycemic control, you will lose weight rapidly, and your body would turn it into a fat burning machine. Even if you're sleeping, even if you're not working out, well, guess what? Your body is actually using the fat as a fuel. The third thing is better mental clarity. And this clarity actually comes from the ketones being used as a fuel, because you're not having those glucose spikes and you're not crashing on that glucose. If you eat a lot of refined sugar, you would have noticed those sugar highs and the sugar crashes, and your hunger fluctuates a lot. Once you hit a sugar crash, you either become sleepy or you actually lose focus. You want to sleep, you're lethargic, you're fatigued. The keto diet actually gets these things down. It actually stabilizes your blood sugar levels, and once your blood sugar levels are stabilized, your mood is stabilized. So the fourth thing is you would have better mood. You would have better time focusing on things, better memory, and your chances of developing prediabetes or type 2 diabetes would go down to nearly 10%. Even if you have strong family history, you can delay your onset of diabetes by just following the keto diet. So if you have hypertension, you can also control your hypertension. You can normalize those blood pressure levels by following this diet, and that is because you would actually lose weight and you would not retain salt. Salt retention is a product of insulin that is released in higher levels. If you eat a lot of carbs, a lot of insulin gets released. That insulin actually causes potassium excretion and sodium retention. You would have noticed those puffy fingers or puffy face or puffy cheeks once you have carbs. And for example, if you eat a lot of rice, you gain a lot of water weight. That water weight actually puts a lot of pressure on your heart. If there's pressure on your heart, you actually develop hypertension. So by following the ketogenic diet, you eliminate your chances for hypertension. The next thing is cancer. If you're on a ketogenic diet, you can really reduce your cancer rates. In the US, there are many clinics, and in Mexico, there are even more centers that actually put people on a ketogenic diet if they have cancer. Now, these tumors, they love sugar. They crave sugar like kids do. They love it so much that once they discovered how much sugar these tumors use, they used to detect these tumors by giving a radioactive sample of glucose. You would have that radioactive sample of glucose, and then they would scan your body. It's called the PET scan. If you've heard of the PET scan, is actually they give you a radioionized glucose sample, you drink it down, and they measure what parts of your body are utilizing those glucose. And guess what? The higher the glucose levels are in certain part of the body, they suspect cancer. So tumors, they love glucose. If you put your body into ketosis, you're using ketones as a primary fuel, and you're really cutting down on those cancer rates. So I was talking about how hospitals and clinics put people that have cancer on ketogenic diet. They get much more better results than people on other diets. And you can follow the keto diet even if you are gluten allergic, if you're vegetarian, if you have food allergies, those will go down. Things like inflammation, things like autoimmune disease, they've been shown to reduce. So if you'd like me to cover more on the keto diet, please go in the comments and tell me what specific topics you'd like me to cover. And I would be posting more videos on how to avoid the keto flu and how to properly start the keto diet so that you have those less lethargy and other symptoms that people usually experience when they go on a keto diet. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that once I upload more videos, you are notified. I've covered topics like diabetes and how to reverse diabetes, type 2, and how to reverse the pre-diabetic conditions. Thank you so much.